What up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. Gotta confess something to y'all. A lot of the things that I've set out to do in my life, I've put in a lot of work, did a lot of things, and every so often, and maybe y'all can agree or disagree, I don't know, but I would say every few years, you do like a life assessment. You kind of go over progress from where you were at this point to where you got to where you are at this point, and so on and so on. And every few years, you kind of monitor your progress. At least I do. I feel like a lot of y'all may do the same thing because some people write down their goals and they get themselves time frames to reach this. I want to be this by this point and whatever. But when I look back at my current assessment, um, I just have to be totally honest and just let y'all know that I have failed. I have failed in life. When I look at my current assessment, and the thing that I failed at is being a failure. I have failed at failing, meaning that when I did my assessment, I'm like, you know what? Everything that I thought about from when I was just getting into music and anything in between that, typically, if I said I was going to do it, I've done it for the most part. Now, here's the hitch to that. Even when you accomplish things, you still may not have achieved them on the level that you may have been satisfied with achieving them. You didn't do it like you may have wanted to do it, but you still did it at a level that was higher than a lot of people who didn't get to the level you was on. And you still generated a lot of quality from it. You've had a lot of success in it. So in that regard, you didn't fail. So you say, well, man, you know what? I wanted, my goal tonight was to score 50 points. I said I was gonna come out tonight gunning and I'm gonna hit 50 points. But at the end of the night, you had 43. Some people have never scored 23, 33. So while the 43 wasn't your goal, that was still a hell of a game. So I would venture to say that a lot of y'all that might be watching this who may have the tendency at times to get down on yourself based on where you are in life or where you think you are not. You may start to view yourself as having failed or being a failure. But if you really honestly assess it, unless things have just went terribly wrong, I would say that most of y'all have succeeded in life. Now, another thing is that that's not to say that if you agree with me and or if you never thought of it that way, you go, yeah, man, you know what, yeah. That's not to say that you were satisfied with where you at. You always strive for better. You always want to be, levels up because there's always somebody and other people and other levels that you look up at and say, man, you know what? I want to get up there. You know. But for the most part, you succeeded. So all of us have failed at failing. That's the one thing that you shouldn't have a problem being a failure at. And that's failing itself. And if you are not happy with where you are, if you just disregard everything I said and take it as, oh man, I don't really agree with that, man, because I said I was going to do this. Or you may think that whatever your goal was, you fell far short from it. You're like, man, I mean, if you fell long, like, man, I didn't come close. All right, then that means just keep on working. That means just keep on pushing. Because, yeah, maybe you didn't come close. But I also am of the belief that um, out of all the different things we do in life, we should also not get so caught up on one thing that we may have struggled with, and let that be the end all be all in terms of judging and determining whether or not we failed or succeeded in life. Because there are many aspects to each one of y'all life. Many things that you do. It's a bunch of things that you do. You raising a family, and you taking care of family and raising children, and holding it down, and being a good friend, a good person, being an honorable person. Um, all of those things, all that stuff counts. So if it's one or two endeavors that you might have tried, well, man, this business I tried to open up, it tanked back in 2016 or whatever the case is, that's cool. Put everything in the grocery bag. Put everything in that and assess it off of that. And when you weigh all of the components, I'm pretty confident in feeling like you would have to be honest enough to say that you didn't fail, or you failed at being a failure. Like I say, man, your life would just really have to you would just have to really been hitting a bunch of bad breaks, to not agree with what I'm saying. And I know what y'all might be thinking, oh, okay, man, you just trying to boost our self-esteem up and try. Yeah, actually I am, because I feel like I'm right. Now, if you one of those type of people who just spend your life scamming and trying to mess over people and doing dirt, or you are sorry and you don't have no push in you and all that, then maybe you are in the minority. Maybe this conversation does not apply to you. But anybody who's striving, who gets up every day trying to better themselves and trying to make life better for the people around them, and you can look at, it's like walking, man. It's like, man, I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna track my steps or whatever. Um, if you just start walking and never look back, you might think, I really haven't been walking that long. I only been walking 5 minutes. But then you turn around and look behind yourself, you're like, wow, I was way down there when I started. Now I'm way up here. So you might not perceive the progress, but the progress is there. And it's it's all about making a profit. And I'm not necessarily talking about financial profit. I'm talking about whatever you do when you start, whenever you reach a certain point in on the journey, you want to be able to say that I'm ahead of where I started. That's a profit. Even as a person, even as a friend, whatever, I'm better today than I was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 weeks ago. So yeah, man, your big brother failed, man. I had to do my check and decide, yeah, I failed in life. But the thing I failed at was being a failure. And we still working on it, man. Alright, it's your big brother K-Rino. Y'all leave a comment, tell me what you think, and subscribe to the channel as well. I'll catch y'all later on. Peace.